What's happening, Chief? Just make sure you're drinking enough water before you listen to this video. Actually, pause the video right now and get yourself some water if you haven't, because I know a lot of my friends and sometimes myself gets carried away, and before you know it, you are dehydrated. So please do that. Get yourself one of these bottles too. Super Sparrow, very good make. You can find it on Amazon, wherever. I'm not sponsored. I'm just a good guy. Yeah. Speaking of self-love and laziness, what's the difference? Well, I'll tell you a very obvious example. I've been very ill this week. Well, I say very ill. It's been the worst kind of illness because I've not been ill enough to not go into work, but I've been ill enough where everything else is just kind of inconvenient and shit. My motivation's been down, my headspace has been like I've been in the clouds, you know? I've not really felt real. I've been too ill to go to the gym, but not ill enough to call in sick from work, so I've just been working and coming back. Luckily, I already had videos lined up for this week, so that's very good. But I had a day off yesterday, so I just chose to rest and try and get over this illness, and it's mostly work. But what I did in that day was fuck all. Something that I haven't done in years. A day where I've done literally fuck all, unless I'm incredibly hungover. But I mean, when I say I haven't done it in years, I mean what I did during that day, and I'm not proud of this, and this was yesterday, by the way, is I literally played video games for most of the day. And I haven't done that in so long. And I saw what that does to a person. Now, it's a new game that came out, by the way, and I had a lot of fun playing it, but what it did to me mentally was even worse. Yes, I was already ill, but let me tell you, when it came to the end of the day, Chief, my brain was so clouded that I literally just didn't even want to be alive. Like, my dopamine baseline was so high that when my friend came back from work, I just didn't give a shit. He's my brother, right? I hadn't seen him in 48 hours because our shifts at work had been different. You know, he works very early, I work all day. I hadn't seen him in 48 hours, and he came through the door and I felt nothing about that. I didn't feel grateful about anything. I tried to meditate, didn't work. I even tried to do some videos, didn't work. I was a husk of a human being. Now, you could argue, it's okay because I was ill. What else was I going to do? Maybe, Chief. But the fact of the matter is, the result was I was a husk because I chose to do that. Now, am I saying never play video games? If you can, and I mean if you can moderate, but a lot of people can't. If you're going to play video games, at least make sure you get everything done in the day. And I don't mean one or two things. I mean, do it at the end of the day. And make sure you don't play it for too long, but make sure you've done fucking everything, Chief. And I mean everything you can possibly do. That includes reading, that includes meditating, that includes the little menial things, like cleaning up your fucking room. And that takes a lot more discipline than you think, Chief. And I use this example because some cunts will come on here and tell you that what I did on Friday or yesterday was self-love. That I gave myself the day to relax. No, Chief, it was laziness. Yes, parts of it was self-love. Resting because I was ill was self-love, but choosing to overstimulate my brain, that was laziness. Because what could I have done instead? I could have played 1 or 2 hours possibly, but I could have read, I could have meditated, I could have gone for a nice walk in nature. Now, I'm not beating myself up about it because, Chief, there's no point. I'm just using it as an example that you can learn from. We're all very weak creatures. Self-love and laziness, the line can get blurred a lot, Chief. It can get blurred by people who are coping or who just don't know. Self-love is something you do for yourself that's going to benefit you in the future as well as now. The gym is self-love. Expanding your brain, resting your brain through meditation, that's self-love. Getting a good night's sleep is self-love. Treating yourself occasionally, like, can video games be self-love? I believe they can, if it's occasional, if it's in moderation. And I mean fucking moderation, Chief, because most of the cunts saying, oh, you can play video games in moderation, don't play in moderation. They just want an excuse for their addictions. Like pornography. Pornography is never self-love, Chief. Don't you fucking dare watch that. If you can moderate it, yes, self-love. as a reward for doing everything you need to do. But it's just, I've never once seen someone in real life that does that preaches that and does that. There's few and far between, because it's such a highly addictive thing, my G. You're simulating a world where you're living out your goals just by moving your fingers. Of course that's going to be addictive. That hijacks the masculine urge for progress, for goal setting, for goal striving, for achieving. It highlights that, hijacks it, and lets you achieve it easily. But in real life it takes so much longer. I've made videos on video games before. You may watch them if you wish. Anyway, I've woken up early so I can record these videos. I'm losing sleep over it, yes, but it's for my future self. Is that a form of self-love? I think it is. And I already feel better. You need to be honest with yourself. If you want to be good at self-love over laziness, you need to just ask yourself, what is my future self going to say? If you want to do something right now that's going to benefit you, ask yourself, what is my future self going to think of me? Because if the answer is a degenerate, he's going to think I'm a degenerate, then don't fucking do it. Realistically, the only times I would be able to watch loads of fucking YouTube or play video games and not think I'm a degenerate from it is if I had literally done everything I could in a day, which is, do you know how high that is of a bar to set? Because there's so much you actually can do in a day. You think you don't have enough time, and this is the thing that really fucks me off. Is people say, oh, I don't have enough time for this, I didn't get... You fucking do. You just don't use your time wisely. You don't have good time management. I used to set timetables when I didn't have work or uni. And I mean literally like an autistically detailed timetable where every hour I had something to do. And I'm not saying I didn't rest. I scheduled the rest too. But when you schedule, on your notes app you can do it from, let's say you wake up at 9 and you go to bed at 11, right? Schedule every hour something you're doing and include rest as well. Give yourself time to fucking play video games if you want. Do you know what you realise, Chief? You realise how much time you actually have and how much time you're bloody wasting. Time management, Chief. That's self-love. Because laziness is so easy. Because you're just listening to how you feel and how you think and what you want in the moment. But what you need is often the opposite. Because we're hardwired now to do what's bad for us, because this world is full of distractions and things that are grabbing at our impulses. What would your future self say? That's what you've got to keep asking yourself now. And it's not going to be easy. You are going to fuck up, but just because you fuck up, don't use that as an excuse to give up, you know? If you start having a shit day because you started to fall into a trap, you can pull yourself out of it. And that's something I didn't do on Friday. And it's going to be more difficult because your brain's going to be more clouded, yeah, but you can always pull yourself out. Okay? And if you do have days where you're basically a degenerate, don't beat yourself up about it. You should be hard on yourself, but I don't mean fucking hate yourself. Just be honest with yourself. Be pragmatic. Realize why it happened. And the next day, just keep moving like nothing happened. Use it as a lesson and really learn from it. Don't just shove it off, because that's how you're going to do it again and again and again. Be just the right level of hard on yourself where you will improve, but don't spend time dwelling on it, because that is self-love. Self-love is the ability to make mistakes, to be a degenerate, but not beat yourself up on it, but hold yourself accountable. Because, Chief, that's the hardest and most valuable thing to develop. Holding yourself accountable without beating yourself up. That, if you can achieve that, will make you so much better than everyone else. Because people are either riddled in self-regret and doubt, or they don't hold themselves accountable at all and they just justify every action they make. Both are fucking terrible. If you can be in the middle, Chief, you're untouchable. Because at the end of the day, I might have had one day where I was a degenerate, but have I still stayed true to my main goal of uploading every single day a video? Yes. The illness could have stopped me. I could have used the illness as an excuse to take a week off. but I didn't. So at the end of the day, yes, I've taken a few steps back, but ultimately I'm still taking more steps forward. And as long as that's the case, man, there's no reason to really be sad. And how I got here was through discipline, through leveling that trait up. So if I do take steps back, it's easy for me to slip back in. And you want to know how to develop discipline, to develop self-love, Chief. Stop listening to your emotions, stop listening to your urges. And like I said before, what would your future self think? Chief, I hope you're having a fantastic week. Just know I believe in you and I appreciate you. Share this to someone if they need to hear it. And finally, Chief, you know what I'm going to say. Say less, do more. See you later. See you tomorrow.